I think I felt anxious when the whole team went to Petaluma. I wanted everyone to fall in love with each other because everyone in the group meant so much to me, and it was such an important moment for the museum. It was the first time that Emma curated a show for SLOMA. It was the first time that I brought forth an artist. A lot of this was monumental. And I also have real family feelings for Mark and so much respect for Heidi, and going into their home is a privilege. And it was really great to be able to film that. I've heard from a number of people who've seen our short so far and talked about people don't even know how an exhibition comes to be. They think that somebody just sends you some stuff and you throw it on the wall, but it's really an exchange between the artist and the curatorial team. This idea of creating a narrative that really shares the whole journey with you. So I love being able to share, their home, which is remarkable and special, and then where he works, and just the evolution of how his sculpture turned into his paintings, and how every day he does both and lives with art so fully. I think that's really important.
I work here with minimum tools.
Yeah.
And there are artists that have, like exquisite dark rooms, and they can only be seen under certain light and stuff like that. And I wanted to work in a way that anybody who just wanted to paint could do it.
Moments like that where you're traveling with your team, or find yourself in the midst of these beautiful rolling hills in Northern California, and it's like stunning views, big studio space, prolific artists, that you're like, oh, this is an amazing experience to be able to do this work for my job. And in general, spending quality time with artists as we start to brainstorm and think through what their collaboration with the museum will be is one of the most fulfilling aspects of this work.
But these are triplets, and what they are, if you really look at them for a while, the eye tends to blend the edge away. So it looks like an image that is constantly changing.
I think what really stood out at the yard is just the scale of his sculptural practice, and how much labor and time and intentionality and big machines and cranes, and how much goes into the production of one of his large-scale pieces. And yet you can always, pretty much with any of Mark's sculptures, you can tell that his hand was a part of that making and that creativity, and I think that's really important.
You gotta walk through that.
Walk through it? Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Oh, that's pretty.
When Mama Mobius made her arrival in San Luis Obispo, it was really very special. We started getting calls from people because she arrived the night before installation, and so she lived at the top of the grade overnight, and people were calling and saying, I think your sculpture's on the top of the grade. Sort of, what is that thing? It started this whole buzz around town. And my favorite was actually when the truck driver was trying to find his way to the museum. He made a wrong turn, and of course, we're like any other downtown, we have a series of one-ways, so he was forced to make laps around downtown, and we'd watch it go by, and then we'd watch it go by the other way. It was creating this amazing fanfare that, it gathered a crowd, and it was joyful.
I think it's a beautiful and exciting thing when so many different community members are gathered together in support of this one act, which is installing this sculpture. And so to me, it was beautiful to witness all the collaborations between the trucking company and the helical anchor installers and our welder and our preparator staff and media and community members who came literally to watch. And I think for me, on a broader level, that's what art should do, right? It should bring people together in intimate ways and make us feel closer as a community and more connected to each other. And I think that's really true about this particular piece.
When you know somebody as a friend, you don't think so much about their work. And this moment in my career, sort of having this important show at the museum, has had me speaking about Mark's work over and over again to different people. And what I found to be the thing that's remarkable to me, and the thing that I realized for myself about Mark's work, is that he really wants to engage the viewer in a different way. His work is never a passive experience. So those sculptures that he's so well known for, he really encourages people to touch them, to climb them. This painting show has an element of engagement that's unusual, that's special, in that you can look at the paintings once, you can walk through the gallery and they're really beautiful and special, and then you can go back and look at the same painting under the UV light and see something completely different. He's really about accessibility. He doesn't want art to put you off, he wants it to pull you in. And these paintings are such a great way to do that. They're really magical, and you look at them repeatedly and you find more every time.
It was lovely and affirming and exciting that Mark came into the gallery and said, "This looks beautiful, this is what I wanted."
We saw Mark himself engaging with really young kids who were playing on the sculpture, and you saw him, how joyful he was and how joyful the toddlers were climbing up and down on this beautiful work of art, and really, again, sort of not being afraid to look at or get near art. And so we have engaged visitors very specifically with climbing on, touching. I walk every donor group, every visitor out, and we touch the sculpture. I take their picture in front of it. I make them climb around it a little bit, because it just breaks down those barriers.
I hope that they use the experience here at the museum as an invitation to, one, deepen their own learning. So if they have further curiosities about Mark's practice, there's so many beautiful books and websites, and actually on the museum's website we have a list of resources and interviews, and if they have extended curiosities about Mark, who Mark is and his legacy, that they can engage with. I guess on a more philosophical level, I just hope that people leave and feel like they can reactivate their own creativity and curiosities, and that the experience here is an invitation to do that, and an invitation to lay aside any sense of judgment or shame. People, when they approach making art, or if they have that urge, so often there's a voice that talks you out of it, and you're like, oh no, I'm not very good, or it's, and I think experiencing art in person should always be an invitation to find new ways to express yourself as an audience member.